All right, so before I say anything, I hate these tweets. They're just cringy. The word combusts is all in capitals. Take it down a notch, all right, buddy? No one caught on fire in this video. It was Elizabeth Warren being asked a question, which she failed in giving a coherent, meaningful answer, but that's it. Anyway, forgiving student loan debt. It was 2.5 years ago, while campaigning in the presidential election, that Elizabeth Warren was confronted by a man, if you remember, who said he worked his tail off, was responsible, and paid off his student loan debt, or paid off his daughter's student loan debt, and he had a buddy that, screwed off, was not responsible, did not pay his debt, etc. I actually made a video about it then. This man asked Elizabeth Warren if student loan debt forgiveness goes through, does he get any money? Is he reimbursed after spending all that money getting out of that debt? After all, he did the right thing. And Elizabeth Warren just shrugged it off and said no. The guy understandably got pissed off and walked away from her. This was around 2.5 years ago, and in that time, Elizabeth Warren has not put any effort whatsoever in coming up with an answer to that. Just the other day on The View, this new co-host or guest, I'm not really sure, but this person asked Elizabeth Warren more or less the same question. She had 2 jobs, worked like crazy, and paid off her debt. Where does she sign up to get reimbursed? And Elizabeth Warren just didn't answer it. She just went on about how a lot of people don't finish college after taking loans out, and the debt is crushing them. Okay, but this person was making a fairly important point, not really related to what what you're talking about, and it deserves a response. But I find it fascinating. How can 2.5 years go by, and at no point did you sit down and say, all right, this guy asked me a tough question today that I didn't have even a remotely good answer for. I need to sit down and think of what I'll say the next time this comes up. How could you not do that? I know if I were her and I was in the public eye, I would do that. Maybe she's just too comfortable. I don't know. Because this is a good question. What do you do with the people who already paid off their loans and struggled a lot to do so? You cannot write that off as so many leftists do and just say, oh, be quiet, don't be mad just because something good is happening to other people. That's the only response I've really seen so far, and that is not good enough. You need to recognize and address this issue, because someone who fought, struggled, labored, and went without for years and decades to pay off that loan, they have got to now feel completely defeated. Because I've said this before, it is not just that some people paid off their debt and they won't get a reimbursement. I mean, that is bad enough, but it's actually worse than that. Student loan forgiveness would retroactively turn those financial decisions that were tough, but the right thing to do and the responsible thing to do, into one of the worst financial decisions you could have ever possibly made. Every dollar you spent to pay off that debt was a terrible decision. You should not have done the right thing. If you had done the wrong thing, you would be far better off now, especially if they get their way. And not only that, you did the right thing and got out of that debt. And now the Elizabeth Warrens and Bernie Sanders of the world want you to pay again for those with the debt today. And don't even get me started on people who never went to college, maybe decided to go into a trade, avoided the debt altogether, and make a decent living, or maybe just a modest living. Well, now they get to foot the bill as well. This is pure elitism. That's all it is. This is actually screwing over people who have the least amount of means, who didn't have the funds to go to college, or perhaps even people who said, I'm self-aware enough to know that college isn't for me because I have a severe learning disability. I'd be better off not going to college and getting a simple job because that's all I can do mentally. Somebody like that now gets to foot the bill for you, a middle class or upper middle class kid, to get into debt, to go get a degree that wasn't even worth the debt you got into to get it. That is disgusting. And that person who has that learning disability or that mental roadblock that can't go to college, they should not be held responsible for your college debt. It's disgusting, and Elizabeth Warren should show some shame, but she won't. Because this is just yet another instance where a politician gets to say something that sounds nice and benevolent, but when you look underneath it, all you find is worms and rotted wood. But that is all for now. Like, subscribe, share this video. It's extremely appreciated. My YouTube channel is having a tough time getting any subscribers, and partially that's my fault because, as I mentioned, I think a couple videos ago, I had to take quite a bit of hiatus, and I will again in the next week or two. But also, like I said in the past couple videos, I will really try and get back at it here soon. But in any case, any support you can give me is a huge help, and I'm very appreciative of any of it. So yeah, you take it easy.